Hey everybody, Justin from the Camera Shop in Muskegon, tuning in right now live for a review on your Facebook photo challenge. Sorry for the microphone in the background. I'm also monitoring myself over here. So this is the review of our Facebook photo challenge for mobile phone photography. So for all of you guys who are tuning in, we'll get to your images real quick. I just wanted to quickly recap on everything that the photo challenge covered as far as what you're looking for, as far as like what you're looking for to capture in your images here. So let me just pull something up here real quick. I hope you guys are all enjoying your Friday, getting ready for the weekend here. So real quick, of course, the best camera is the one that is with you. So to review with your cell phone, the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're just grab your camera and shoot what captures your eye. I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing for you, is that shoot what fascinates you. And as Chase Jarvis says, the best camera is the one that's with you. So regardless if you're using your cell phone or your removable lens camera or point and shoot camera, just go out and be creative. That's what I encourage everyone to do. So the first thing to look for is inspiration. You could look up your best cell phone photographs if you're on Google. If you're a black and white photographer, look up the best black and white photographs. The biggest thing is just taking inspiration from things that are that you see out there that people are already capturing, and you can use that because, hey, a camera phone is just as good as at capturing images as a regular camera. From there, it's, set your camera focus. You guys all know that to, tap on the screen to set your focus. If you're shooting in a lighthouse, tap on the lighthouse. You want to be able to focus on that, and you want your, whatever is going to be what you want your subject to see, you want to make sure that's sharp and focus. Let's see. The other thing that you got is, use your phone with multiple lenses and shooting modes. So there's going to be different lenses. I've got an SG10 Plus, and that's got 3 different lenses. So it's got the wide angle, the standard portrait mode, and then it's got the 2x telephoto. And I also have the shooting modes where it allows me to have creative blur with the backgrounds, the multi-capture shot, HDR, things of that nature. So it's always fun to kind of set those settings up on your phone and use everything that your phone has to offer. So compositional elements, you want to look out for, lines, shape, color, anything that kind of draws your viewer into the photo, and that's always important, just the compositional elements, and chase the light. So again, the biggest thing with photography is chasing the light, finding the light. The best times of day to shoot are going to be in the morning and in the evening. They call those the magic hours. The one in the evening is typically burns a little bit more orangish red, a little more vibrant in color because of the dust particulates that are in the atmosphere. So if you want more kind of oomph out of your magic hour, shooting in the evening hours is going to be the best. And that time can last an hour. It can last 15 minutes. It can last like 2 minutes when you have the best light. So it's always important that if you're going to shoot something during magic hour, to get there before sunrise or before sunset. The last thing is to use a photo editing app. Some of my suggestions are going to be Snapseed is one of my favorites. It's one of the top ones. I use that all the time on everything that I do. You've got Adobe Lightroom Mobile, Adobe Photoshop Express, VSCO, which is VSCO. You got Instagram, Touch Retouch, Enlight. There's all kinds out there. The phones have them as well. I know Samsung has a default one. iPhone has a default one. Just use the one that you're more familiar with. So from there, I will quickly just get into some of what you guys have been doing. So I'll kind of cut the screen here and get into Bridge. And this is just to quickly go over what I just got done talking about, but just illustrating some of the examples that I had. This is just utilizing the different lenses on my phone. So this goes from your standard portrait mode to your telephoto mode. So you can kind of see the difference between the two extremes, or maybe I'm using my wide angle. I don't know if there's that middle one in between, but you can see a lot of your field of view, and then the same shot with the different lens, you can see that I've got a tighter field of view. This is chasing the lights, and again, we're talking about that magic hour. This is getting there where it's just hitting the clouds just right. You got that nice brilliant orange kind of bouncing in the towards the horizon, and as that sun is going to set, what you're kind of looking for to do is really bounce off the bottom layers of those clouds. But this is just when you're looking at color in photographs, you're looking for complementary colors, and complementary colors are the colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. And if you look at yellow, the complementary color across from that is blue. So it's really nice to have those two kind of bouncing off of each other and meeting in the clouds in between. And Kelly is saying, I've never heard magic hour. I've never heard it called that. Yeah, the magic hour is, again, reiterating that it's that hour. It's like an hour hour after sunrise and an hour before sunset. So it's when the light is at its best, and it's just really complementary to your scene that you're looking at. Kind of like this one right here in Pure Marquette, Michigan. We've got some nice morning light coming in, hitting the trees. This is like an hour or so after sunrise. Had we gotten there during sunrise, it probably would have been a whole different feel. This is getting more towards like the daylight that you would see during the day. So it's not quite as warm being in the sense like this is more yellow light, where, earlier in the morning it would have been maybe an orangish red. So I hope that answers your question, Kelly. Again, get there. If you want to capture the magic hour, be where you're going to be, where you want to shoot an hour before sunset, an hour before sunrise at where you're going to shoot. And bear in mind where the sun's going to rise. Like if sun rises in the east and you're shooting something towards the west, that's where the light's going to hit. When the sun is setting in the west, your light's going to hit to the east. So if you're trying to shoot mountains or something, like I've got an example, alpenglow happens when you have the sunrise or sunset hitting the side of mountains. So it's just being mindful of where your sun is going to fall. This is another example of your shapes and leading people through your scene. So you've got this tree right here. It's creating a triangle. So it's got a line, but it's creating this space right here where there's a triangle, and it's a frame within a frame. People can kind of isolate themselves and look right into the photograph. The river flowing from the bottom right is leading us to the background. So it's nice to kind of lead people in with something and lead them through your photograph. This is something with perspective. So just kind of being mindful of how you're shooting. You can get really low to the ground. You can point your camera up, point your camera down. Most people, when they look up, you don't normally see that point of view. So that's why it's kind of nice to do this. And you got those leading lines of the skyscrapers going to that infinity point right in the middle of the photo. Again, this is about perspective. Also utilizing what they call, I forgot what they called that. When you have the reflection, I mean, it's nice to use reflections. Symmetry is what you can get from reflections. So we're creating that symmetry in the water where we've got the park bench. I'm not dividing it, exactly down the middle of the frame, but I'm getting really low to the water, as close as I can without having my phone in the actual water, and just trying to shoot that scene outwards. So that's something you can do with that. Again, chasing the lights. This is going to be more more evening lights that we got out here to Empire Bluffs. And, it's still kind of a little after midday. I think it's probably around 4 o'clock or so. And you just got this nice warm light. It's in the fall light. So you've got these nice big fall puffy clouds, wind blowing from the left to the right. So the tree is kind of moving to the right a little bit. And again, we've got complementary colors. We've got a lot of blue, we've got a lot of yellow, and those are complementary colors. And then you want to use layers in your photographs just to kind of create, with landscapes, it's nice to have layers. We've got that third in the foreground, and we've got the 2/3 of the sky. And this is what I was talking about with alpenglow. So this is not as orange as it could be. This is a little like an hour after sunrise in Colorado. And you can see where we've got landscape with layers. We've got just, a third of the sky is of the blue, and then everything else, the 2/3 of the image that has the things that we're interested in looking at, with the shrub oak here in the foreground, the prairie in the midground, the aspen and the pine in the middle. That's the 2/3 of our visual interest. The sky, not so interesting. So that's our lesser third, but we're building in those layers. The other thing to look at is what your lens does with like your lens effects with your camera. So I'm using the Galaxy S10 Plus, and this allows me to kind of have a control. I can control my bokeh, so I can have like a spinny bokeh, a really nice bokeh like you'd get from a portrait lens. I could have like a selective color around the center, and then the background is kind of black and white. So this is just using the spin mode, the spin bokeh control mode, and you can see the difference between it after and before. And it's just something that's really cool. Now, my phone allows me to change this at any time. As long as I take the photo, I can always go back and change that blur mode to whatever I want, and even the degree of the blur as well. This is just, again, kind of chasing the light using the telephoto version of my phone, just shooting the Chicago skyline at night. And this is getting into editing. So editing, it's really important. I use Snapseed, and this is the shot that you're seeing right out of my phone. And this is just kind of bumping and changing some of those attributes of the photo, increasing the saturation, increasing the contrast. Because here it's kind of muddy, kind of dull. Boom, we brighten it up, and it just livens everything up. As far as the contrast, increases the white in the clouds, the black in the shadows down here, and then that extra saturation boost just really makes those fall colors pop. Looking at Chicago and their theater sign, it's a great shot out of camera. I really liked it, but you can see that I'm really pushing the color when I edit it. And again, I use Snapseed to edit this in my phone. This is just an example of, like, this is the shot of my window in the morning. And this is just kind of the dull standard shot. And this is utilizing just kind of pushing the colors. So I'm enriching the contrast here and just getting that nice separation between black and white. And this is going to a black and white version of that because I like black and whites. And this is kind of an example of using line and shape. This is an abstract view of a window in a house. And you can see I've got some nice lines, some rectangles, and it's just more or less a play on shape than anything else. And that's what's nice about abstract photos. So without further ado, I'm going to get to your guys' photos here. So we'll go ahead and kind of look at this. This is going to be from Jeff McFeeters. And Jeff McFeeters actually took this photo, I think, back in 2015 with his phone at the time. I believe it was an iPhone. And he actually got published. And he shared this with us a while back when we were talking about an Olympus live video that we were doing. And he just shared this with me because he saw that we were doing the photo challenge. And I think this is just a great capture, very painterly, really cool storm system over some open ground. And it's a lot of fun to see that. Nice big layers. And again, you got that little shred of not even a third of the image. He's just mostly going all sky with that. So that's what we've got there. Now, Brad is asking, how many megapixels does your S10 Galaxy camera have? I don't know, Brad. I haven't really looked at that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 16. Could be a little bit more. But I like how it takes photos, so I don't really care about the megapixels on it. This one's going to be from John Thomas. He shot this with an iPhone S7, and he did edit it with Snapseed. So as you can see, we've got a nice subject here in the foreground, a nice little bale of hay. We've got the rule of thirds with the third of the foreground being the farmland, and then we've got this nice 2/3 of sky. So that's a great capture of a sunset right here. Kind of looks like it's in the Hesperia area, kind of like on your way to Fremont. We've got John Lowry, who's got a shot from his iPhone, and nice sunset on the lake. And again, we're looking at leading lines. We've got this nice leading line going out into the lake. That's with the dock. And that line is also duplicated with the grass bank right here, the landmass going out into the water, little peninsula. And what we're seeing here is our 2/3 is a of interest is in the foreground because that dock is at 2/3 of interest. It's kind of leading us into this 2/3 chunks down here. We got that third right up here at the top. We've got one from John Plyer. He used a Moto G6. This is Bronson Park. Great use of leading lines. And I told you guys, like leading people through your image. Again, we talked about the magic hour earlier. You can see this nice orange golden glow on the boardwalk, and you got those leading lines leading you right into the subjects right here at the end of the boardwalk. And that's just exactly what you want to do, is just kind of lead people right into your scene. So good shot there, John. We've got another one from John Plyer. This is from Hesperia, and probably taken around the fall, considering that I love looking at the details in photographs. You can tell it's fall. There's some trees, there's some leaves off the trees here. You can see that these guys, it looks like an oak, and it's the leaves have obviously browned. It could easily be earlier this year as well, considering that a lot of leaves didn't drop. But you got this nice puffy clouds. Now you will see this a lot with camera phones. You can see that he's got this lens flare coming into the photo from the sun. That's just hard to get rid of when you're shooting the sun. You have to kind of be pointed almost directly at the sun, not to get that little lens flare. But the wonderful thing about lens flare is if you use it just right, it becomes a creative aspect of your photo versus it being like a crutch or something, like an inconvenience in your photo. And I think it's really nice here because it just kind of adds that nice, it adds to the Ray sunshine look that you would get out of the clouds on a day like today that he was shooting. You've got this one from Julie Ray Becklin. This is an iPhone 10 of a sunflower here, just a lonely sunflower in a field. Really nice how you've got that centered. And we got some nice little depth of field back here because we've got just this huge field, so the blur is going to start to fall off. So thank you for sharing that with us, Julie. We've got one from Kay Rawrig. I don't have her first name, but she got a nice shot out of her phone. She's got this shooting in the 16:9 aspect ratio because she's shooting her whole phone. So make sure you're looking at your shooting settings, so you're shooting at your highest resolution and you're getting your full range of your ratio. You know, most camera phones will capture in 4:3 or 16:9. From there, you have to edit. 16:9 is the ratio of your phone's screen or your standard television. But I love the reflection. I love the nice orange lights. The wonderful thing about ponds or reflective surfaces is that they always make the sky darker in the reflection than they are up in the sky. So I just really like how you've kind of got like this burning ember in the center of the photograph. Now I did get two from Casey. This is one of them. This is the supermoon that she shot with her iPhone XR. And you can see the moon back there. I don't know if she used a flash to fill the tree lights to kind of put detail in the trees, the tree branches, or if it's like a porch light or something. And I'm actually quite surprised that she was able to get as good of a photo as this, because it's really tricky to shoot the moon unless you're able to control your exposure. So really good job with that, Casey. And this one's from Kendra Swenner. She's got an SG8, and this is the Mackinac Bridge, and she's shooting in a 16:9 aspect ratio. And she's shooting from the north side, probably from the, I would assume, maybe she's shooting from the north side of the bridge, considering there's, that we've got a lot of lake grass in the foreground, and I think it's the setting sun off to the right. And that's kind of what I was talking about with the magic hour. So you want to be on a certain side of the sun. Now, if you want to shoot the bridge, you get this nice orange glow on it. Well, you want the sun setting in the west, be on the north side of the bridge shooting to the south, and you're going to get that nice ray of light just lighting up the bridge like you wouldn't normally see. The opposite end of that spectrum would be up early enough in the morning to be on the south side of the bridge looking north, kind of northwest, and having that easterly sunrise hitting the side of the bridge and lighting it up against any blue skies. So good job with that, Kendra. And this is from Leanne Kropf. This is the SG10 Plus. Same phone that I have, and I've always wanted to go to Clear Springs in not Hesperia, but it's like Montague or something like that. Such a cool spot. This would be a great area to kind of get nice little reflection. It's really calm. The water's really clear. I'm actually thinking about taking my TG4 up there and kind of messing around with some water videos of just kind of dunking my camera underwater. And that's not your cell phone, guys. That's a waterproof point and shoot camera. So don't get any ideas unless you have a waterproof case on your phone. So really great shot there, Leanne. This one is from Matthew Brown. He's got an iPhone 10, the iPhone X, and he's got his Instagram handle up there, the 231 Matthew. He's got this nice, I don't know if this is sunrise or sunset, just because of the position of where he's at, looking back towards the shore. So I think this is sunrise in the morning. He just got out there early enough and got the nice hue off the clouds. Again, that's where that morning magic hour comes into play. You probably had to be out there before the sun even started to kind of peak up, because it's going to take a while to walk out. But once you get out there, you get something that no one else is going to see, because most people aren't shooting in the morning. I know I'm not a morning person, so you won't catch me out there. This is from Nicole Lindsay. She's got an SG10. She said that she did a little bit of editing in the Samsung mobile app that's, comes with your photo. But she's got a nice silhouettes. And again, we've got the reflections in the water. I mean, I would like just to kind of even see just this crop down here, because that's just really cool with the texture that you get from the ripples. But really nice silhouetted forms against the setting sun of Florida, I believe. And this is Aaron Renee with an SG10, Riverside Park. I like this. It's kind of that early morning. Again, another play on reflections. And she's got this really nice kind of thing happening here, where there's a little bit of symmetry occurring. We've got symmetry here with the reflection of the trees in the water here in the sky, but also this form of symmetry down this vertical line. These plants being on the left and right, framing it up for us and kind of setting our attention towards the center of the frame. And I think that's kind of brilliantly shot. And we've got a little bit of fog there, probably an early morning shot, I would assume. So really good job there, Aaron. This is from Tom Hopper. He shot this with his iPhone 11. So this is what I'm talking about. This is iPhone 11 and the 16:9 aspect ratio, Pier Marquette Beach. You can tell because of the details here in the background. He's got this nice leading line leading us out into the lake. So we've got these two diagonal lines. We've got triangles. So we got the shape here with the two converging branches, and just really cool, nice wavy day. Probably shot maybe earlier this year, considering there's no leaves on the trees, or in the fall. So again, I like to look for the details in the photos of what, when they might have been photographed. Now, Whitney Schaub shot this with her SG7. This is a really cool way of shooting. This is more abstract, and haven't seen too many abstracts so far, a lot of landscapes, but abstracts are when you're really just concentrating on shapes, right? And I love how we've got so many lines and triangles. We've got these lines that look like hockey sticks, which are just the infrastructure of the actually, this might even be inside, like maybe the arena downtown, because those do look like hockey sticks chained up to the ceiling. So it might be some kind of accent piece to Van Andel Arena or the arena downtown Muskegon. So I think it's really cool that you're looking at the shapes, looking at all the lines. And again, how many times would you look up? Looking up, you got a nice photograph just right there. So really great capture from Whitney. We've got Angela Hernandez with the SG Note 9. Great landscape shot, sunset. Again, we've got less than a third of the photo down there with a layer of the foreground. And then we've got all this sky looking at a nice sunset and or sunrise. But I'm assuming, just based on the color, that it's probably a sunset. From there, we've got another one from Angela Hernandez. This one was shot in Florida. The last one was shot in Oklahoma. So she's kind of getting around the country shooting different things. And I love this one. It's just a lot of fun. A kid on the beach. Got again, reflections have been kind of this have been a really repeating thing that we're seeing in a lot of these photographs. Using the water, she's getting really low, using her perspective to her advantage, which I encourage you guys all to do. And I love kind of the arms back, head up of the kid playing in the water here. And in the reflection, just a really cool moment. And again, playing on perspective, getting low with your subject. This one's from Angela Cook with an SG10 Plus, Flowers in the Garden. And some kind of selective color mode here. I don't know if this was the blur mode that I was talking about earlier, because I know it lets you focus on the color in the center and it kind of bleeds off all the color in the distance. So really cool shot there. And we've got one from Anita Bonifield with an iPhone 7. She calls this Paradise. She said no editing. And this is just, again, a really nice shot. This is kind of that picturesque shot that you want to get on a magazine or you have for your background. Again, leading lines going out into the horizon, nice sunset, perfect clouds. It's always nice to have clouds in the sky. It just adds a little bit of interest. So it's not just a blank sky. That doesn't mean that a sky without clouds isn't interesting. It's just a little harder to make it interesting. When you look at the clouds in this situation, we've got the nice yellows and oranges towards the horizon line. And Angel, Casey knows that it's Angel. So I stand corrected on that. Thank you, Casey. And it's just nice to get that nice little bounce of red off the bottom of the clouds, nice blues. And those are what we call analogous colors. Analogous colors are colors that are next to each other in the color wheel. So if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, go Google search the color wheel. You'll see two different types of colors. You'll see your complementary colors and you'll see your analogous colors. And analogous are ones that are next to each other in the color wheel. Complementary are across from each other in the color wheel. But I just love the cool overtones in this image that Angel shot. Well, this is from Anita, but Angel shot this one right here. So this one's from Brad Walker. He shot this RC car, probably jumping off of a ramp or something. Kind of hard to do. I don't know if he was just in single shot or multi-shot, but to be able to freeze that moment before the RC car's tire is going to touch the ground, and it kind of creates that like a little bit of tension in the mind, like when is it going to hit, and it's just kind of floating there. So a nice capture there from you, Brad. And he used an iPhone 8. And this is from Charles DeWitt with an iPhone 7. This is, I know this is out in the East Coast. He shot a nice lighthouse. Just really cool shot. He had it on Instagram. That's why we've got the square. And just cool moment. Again, blue sky, nice waves, just kind of this nice kind of circular motion, kind of framing. Like your eyes kind of keep on turning like this, which is kind of like the churning of the ocean. So that's a really cool thing. And that's everyone that I've got so far. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I grabbed everything from the comment section, went back into the Camera Shop's mail to kind of find something, to find anyone's photos, and even to my email, sales@camerashopmuskegon.com. So yeah, just want to thank everyone who participated this week in the photo challenge of getting your best shot with your camera, your mobile phone and your camera. I hope that you guys will tune in. I don't know if we've got any word from WZZM if we're going to do another one from them. Sometimes I'd like to wait just to see if we'll do a broadcast. We can post the next challenge, but I will keep you guys informed on that. And before I kind of close things off, guys, because we're all set with everything, does anyone have any questions that I can answer for you about your mobile or camera photography? I know that I can answer any questions you might have, or point you in directions of any ideas on equipment or editing software programs before we close out here at 6:30. Otherwise, I'll let you guys get to your weekend. So I'll kind of hang in here for that, kind of see who else kind of chimed in while we were on. Lisa, I will contact you after I get off of this about your message here. And it doesn't look like I've got any other questions from you guys. For those of you guys who participated, Brad did capture his shot using the iPhone burst mode, so that's how he captured his shot. Otherwise, Brad, I'd be very impressed about how you captured your shot. If you're just doing single shot, you just got lucky. John Thomas says, later, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, John. I'll probably see you on Wednesday for our broadcast with Mike. For all of you guys who shoot cameras, we will have Sony on Monday with Barrett McGivney. So look for us on Monday with Barrett McGivney from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time with a live broadcast from him. And we'll also be doing a live broadcast with Mike Amico from Olympus on Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. And we might do one on Sunday. I might kind of chime in on Sunday, see if we got anything going on, just to talk photography, just open Q&A for you guys. And if we do that, that's going to be around 2 o'clock is when I would do that. But I'll let you guys know. I'll schedule that out for you. So in the meantime, look for us on Monday from 2 to 3 and Wednesday for sure from 6 to 7 with Mike Amico and Barrett McGivney. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for everyone who participated. I really love seeing how creative you guys are and pushing your phones to the limit. If you have any questions for me, I'm at the store Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. We are open for curbside business. Any orders over $50 that you guys call in, I can ship out. We're doing free shipping on anything over $50. So if you guys need something, call the store, 231-733-1286. If you need anything via email, send me an email, sales@camerashopmuskegon.com, or send us a Facebook message through our business page. I'll be able to get to you guys as soon as I can through that. So don't be shy. I hope you guys enjoy. It's supposed to be a good weekend, so enjoy the beautiful weekend. Get out and shoot. Get out and have some fun. And yeah, I hope you guys just have fun. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Happy shooting. And don't forget to be creative a little bit every day. Cheers, guys. Have a good night.